Hi everybody, welcome to Brelsford Family Homestead. I'm Darcy. Today we're going to be rendering lard. So I have about 23 pounds or so of pork fat that I need to render. I think I actually have another bag in the freezer, but this is what we're gonna do right now. So I have got to cut this up into smaller pieces to fit through my KitchenAid grinding attachment. This does take a bit of time for this, so if you have a more powerful one or you're lucky enough to get your butcher to grind it for you, then that will speed up your process. You can render this without grinding it. It just allows it to render faster and more fully if it's ground, and I'm not looking to make cracklings, which some people are, and that's why they like the bigger pieces. I will be doing a dry render method, meaning I will not add any water to this. So once I have it ground, I'll be putting it in one of my big electric roasters. You can use a Dutch oven or something on your stove or in your stove, but this is just kind of a hands-off method that I like to use. And plus I can do a bunch at one time. So I'll put it on here on like the lowest setting to get it to start melting, and then turn it up a little bit, but it will take like a full day before this is done, especially this amount. So you got to be patient and you want to let it render fully out, but I'm going to take you through that whole process so you can see how it's done, and then it's easy. I choose to keep my lard, once it's rendered, either in the fridge or the freezer. There's some debates about whether you can keep it on the shelf. I have not found anything that says safely without adding things that it can be. So you do you. I'm going to keep mine in my fridge or my freezer, either in like the restaurant deli containers or in wide mouth quarts is what I like to really use, and keep those in the fridge. This is a greasy job. Obviously this is pork fat, and I apologize if there's background noise. My dishwasher is on and I just really need it to finish going because dishes, okay? Your hands are gonna feel wonderful and soft when you're all done, but a lot of your things will be greasy. So hot water is your friend, even if you boil some so you can pour it on things to get them clean. It will be greasy, but the end product is worth it. I'm just gonna cut off any bits that have meat on it, just because then it will give it just a better taste. I mean, you can leave that on there, but it'll have, I don't know, it's a nicer end product. I got the first bag already in sizes for the grinder and removed any of the meat that was on there. This was actually fairly clean, so that was pretty easy. I'm gonna put this back in the fridge and get the other bag and work on it. It is easier to grind if it's cold. I mean, you can do it if it's warm, but it will go through a lot easier and faster if it's cold. So I'm gonna put that in the fridge and get working on the other 13 pounds. Here's the other bag. There is some meat, but it doesn't look too bad. So I'll get this cut up. The second bowl is all done. I'm gonna stick this one in the fridge and grab the other one, and we'll start putting it through the grinder. So I just sat here with some worship music on while I did all this. So if you have favorite music to listen to, would you put it down below? I found like Seacoast music recently. I like that. If you've been around here for a while, you know I love Brandon Lake. I've been enjoying some Forrest Frank with my kids. So maybe we'll do one of those dances. Would you like to see us do that? I don't think I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna see if I can make this work and grind it directly into the roaster, because one less pan than I need to clean greasy pork fat from. Now for mine, it says to use it on speed 4. So that's what I'm gonna do, and just feed it through. I am using the larger of the blades, and I'm not gonna put it through a second time like I would if I was doing meat on the second smaller blade. Can you see it coming out? I'll bring you over closer. See? Lard is the end product from rendering pork fat. the fat is heated up and then you strain the liquid from the solids. That liquid is then used in cooking, in baking, and frying. It's been used by generations of people for a good, healthy, wholesome fat that is a way to save money and be budget friendly, especially if you raise your own pigs and you know what is in that fat. The smaller bowl has been all put through the grinder. This is what we have right now. And the larger bowl is actually in the freezer right now. It does so much better when it's really cold, and it just wasn't cold enough sitting for that short time in the fridge. So the small bowl went in there for about 15 minutes. We'll do a little bit longer for the other one. It doesn't need to be hard or anything, but just very cold, and it will go through the grinder much faster, especially when you have something like the KitchenAid attachment. It's just not as powerful as some of the big standalone grinders, but this is what I have and it's working. So I'm going to turn this on probably the lowest setting here, about 150, and get that to start melting, and then we'll just add the other once I get it ground, and I'll just use the bowl that this was in so I don't have to dirty any more dishes, and that will start rendering. Maybe this should go without saying, but I don't know. I guess I didn't really know until I did it, but because this takes hours, even like a whole day or overnight, it is pork fat. And even with it being like leaf lard, or you've taken all of the meat off, it is going to smell like lard. So maybe not do it if you're getting ready to have some guests over, especially if it's like their first time or you're having a family gathering or something. Maybe wait until after. Just a little helpful public service announcement for you. Here is my roaster full. I'll put the lid on and just let it do its thing. You can see the lard is starting to render down, become liquid. Just keep this going until it all liquefies. I did turn this up to 200. This is not done rendering, but there is a lot of rendered fat here already, so we're going to strain some off. We're going to go ahead and strain off some of the rendered lard, and I'm going to store it either in wide mouth quart jars like this, or in these restaurant deli containers. These are the ones I'm going to put in the freezer. I just don't want to take a risk of this getting knocked around or something and broken in the freezer, causing problems and obviously losing the product too. But we need to heat these up first so that when we put the hot lard in there, that they don't crack. So what I typically do is put them on a baking sheet of some kind, however many I need, and then I put them in the oven on warm, just to get them warm before I put the lard in it. And what I'm going to do to strain it right now, since I'm not straining all of that, is just whatever we can fit in these right now, because that still needs to render more, is I'm going to use a funnel and a fine mesh strainer. This one just so happens to fit in the funnel. And then this is a piece of flour sack towel. And I just cut a piece off of one that has seen better days that needs to be thrown away, because honestly, whatever you decide to use, I haven't found a way to like properly clean it. So this will get thrown away when we're done. There shouldn't be too much debris in there because we're still rendering that down. So I'll just be skimming the liquid off of the top, but I'll show you how that is, and it'll be clear in the jar, but as it cools, it'll slowly from the bottom up turn white, and it's pretty cool. I set my oven to keep warm at 170 degrees and put the jars in there so they'll slowly warm up, but we'll go ahead and fill some of these up now. Okay, I think I got you at an angle where you can see the roaster and what I'm doing here. So I'm just gonna put the funnel inside this restaurant deli container. This holds like a quart. And we're just gonna carefully, now I do have some stuff in there, so I'll dump whatever solids go through here back in there just in case there's any more lard to be rendered. dump those solids right back in there. Now I am going to leave a little bit of space for expansion since I do plan to put these in the freezer, but I will let these cool down before I put them in the fridge or freezer because obviously they're still quite warm. And I'll turn you up so you can see, but I guess we will be able to see a little bit how this turns white, but through a jar it's much better. I'm just going to write on this lid, Lard, August 2025. Got my warm jar, and I'm going to do the same thing that we just did with the plastic container. For the glass jar, I am using a typical canning ring and lid, and this is a new one. And the heat on there probably will make it seal and pop, but I still will keep this in the refrigerator, not in my pantry. So I will let you guys watch how this changes from this see-through to white. I had to do some other things, so stopped the rendering in the roaster and put it in this pot in the fridge, and have started rendering it down again. Looks like we'll probably get at least one more container. As you see, I do have the pork fat back in a pot to render it some more. I needed to stop to do something else, so I just put it in the fridge. I think I'll get at least one more container, maybe even more. But look at this beautiful lard. See how white it is? I was doing a time lapse. I haven't looked at it yet, but my phone died before it was completely white. So, but I hope you got to see some of that. But you can definitely see here how that's all turned white. So, so nice. And there are 9 of these, and it was just shy of 14 pounds, I believe, or was it 13 pounds? I'll have to double check. But I'm really happy with that, and we have some more to do. Now I do have one more bag of fat that I will render at another time, but I wanted to bring you along. The last time I rendered fat, some of you said, please make a video. So I hope this is helpful. It is really simple, and that cooked down faster than the last batch. I don't know, but just low and slow, and you will have some beautiful lard. I have made pie crust with this, biscuits with this. I've fried wings in this, fried all kinds of things in it, and just put it in my pan to cook with normally. And so I don't have to buy oil in the store. Now I do use avocado oil for some things, so I do buy that. But you know, for most things, I'm just either using bacon grease or this lard. So this has saved me a ton of money for sure, and you can't even buy this quality in the store. So I hope you guys will try to make it. You could, even if you're not raising pigs, you might be able to source some pig fat and make your own, and you'll know exactly what is in it, and you can say no to seed oils. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Please share it if you know someone who would benefit from it. Until next time, God bless.